Welcome back to the Unnamed Project. Today we're turning this into this. All right, welcome back, guys. Do you have any idea how hard it is when you punch aluminum that close? Yeah, I just found out. Anyways, super happy you guys came back here. If it's your first time here, go ahead and check out these videos. It'll catch you up to date. Long story short, we're taking this 65 Ford, 65 custom, 65, I don't know, man, the Ford 65, whatever it is. Slamming a different engine, different transmission into it, and then putting on some turbits on it. Yeah, you'd like that one. Now this video here, geez, I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do. Definitely gonna get that carb hat going, for sure. I'm gonna need that. Then my oiling system on my turbos, I have to get that done. So I had oil going to them, but then the problem is that it wasn't regulated, there was no return to it, it's just whatever, right? So the return I was thinking about a little bit. I think I'm probably just gonna drill into my oil pan because I got that kick out that I put in there, right? And then just gonna put the return into it. That should be pretty easy. If not, I could just put the return in a bucket and then just keep putting the oil back in. Okay, so like I was telling you guys, I'm gonna show you how I build my carb hats, right? So I know someone's gonna tell me you can buy them, but at this specific time, I can't find them. And remember, this applies to any carburetor that you have, awkward size or not, doesn't really matter. So what I have is a piece of aluminum pipe, right? You can take a flat piece, it works too, it's just, this is all I had on hand. And then I have a piece of steel, which is the same size as my carb. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut on the line that I made here. It's a perfect line down there. Put it around this pipe, tighten it down with hose clamps.
Write that down, write that down!
And then I'm just gonna re-weld it and I'm gonna have my base for it, right? So I'll take you through that. So I kind of got to the point where the clamps aren't quite going anymore. So what I'm going to do here is, I know I can cut at least to here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off right away so the clamps won't have as far to pull in. Okay, so not too bad so far. It's actually taking the shape of the pipe pretty good. And now I know where I have to cut. I'm going to leave just a little bit, or probably cut on the line on the other side of the line just to give myself a little bit of clearance. Actually, you know what? The other thing I'm going to do before I go back in for the last time there, I'm going to hammer the edges in a little bit because I know what's going to happen when I go to close. They'll be pointed upwards instead of being pointed towards each other. So just going to put it on a corner, just hammer this down just a little bit. Okay, go ahead and tack this up, and then afterwards we'll take it off of here and then we'll see how good it fits. Okay, so we got our hat kind of mocked up here. It looks silly right now, I know, but that's fine. If you're wondering on the baffle, right? Not the baffle, but the redirector, if you will. You got to remember, I have a 2-barrel carb, right? So my hopes and dreams with this is that it's going to help the air come in, kind of do the swirl, hit that plate, and then feed itself into the carburetor, because the carburetor has the 2 barrels towards the front side of it. So I'm trying to basically kind of block off, if you will, the back half of the carburetor that has nothing in it. So it's obviously too high right now. Doesn't matter, we're going to shorten it later on anyways. I'm going to shorten from the bottom, but I wanted to get all this stuff done first, right? So what I want to do now is to make sure it's indexed properly, because I can't just put this part willy-nilly anywhere. It has to actually be properly lined up to block off the half, like I said. Once that's in there, I'm going to find out where my pipes come in from. I already have a pretty good idea where they're going to come in from. And then I'm going to make the entry for it. And then afterwards, trim to length. And then this part's going to be good to go. You can see the carb hat has to go a specific way here, or I'm trying to get it in a specific way, right? So here I'm placing it with a line across, and I'm trying to locate where the hole going in is going to be. Then I wanted to measure how low I can cut it, just because I want it to be as low as possible, right? And a little bit here, you're going to see that I indexed a notch in that that air vent, air dam that's in there, right? So that carburetor has to go back in the same place. Then you're going to see a bit of cutting, welding, some polishing, and enjoy the music that I put in there. It's the kind of stuff I listen to. Alright guys, if you're watching this far again, a little friendly reminder to subscribe. All that stuff helps when it comes time to keep the projects rolling.
You finished?
Yeah, so the oiling system. So what I did is I very simply just went where, oh, there we go. You can see where that pipe coming out of the block is. I'll try to go point it out there. This guy, whoops. This guy right here, okay? Stop focusing on the wrong stuff. There we go, look at that. So I teed off of that because I want to keep my oil pressure sensor. And then I teed off of that again, and that's the oil feeding the turbos. So I sparked up the engine just to make sure I had oil coming to them. Good to go. I gotta do the old restrictor plug trick here, so I'll show you that. I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna want to see that. Restricting the oil is simply so that you don't lose all the engine oil going to the turbos, right? So you can see a little bit of oil here. When I sparked them up, all I did is I connect the two outlets of the turbos together for the oil. It overpowered it in no time, and then it just starts spewing out of here and spewing out of the exhaust. So not cool at all. So anyways, we'll get that sorted out. We'll get that return sorted. What I want to do is take these pipes or tubes or hoses, whatever. This one here, I'm going to pass it behind everything. There's a big opening behind all the pulleys here where all the hoses for the cooling system go for the oil. So I'm going to pass it through there, tee off here somewhere, go through everything I got there. There we go. And then I'm going to thread right on top of my kick out that I did there. So I'm going to do an oil change, right? So I'm going to tap and thread and all that stuff, and then dump half a can of brake cleaner in there because it's right over where the oil plug is. Get all that stuff out, and then we should be good. This is a little trick that I got from a gentleman called Steve Morris. If you don't know about the guy and you're into engine builds, go check out his videos. He's pretty cool. All right, so this is my little trick I was talking about when I mentioned doing an oil plug restrictor. So this is the fitting I have on top of my turbo, right? Very closely resembles an AN fitting. Not what it is though, shocker. So the inside of the back of mine is almost the perfect size to run a 1/4-20 tap through it. So I just went ahead and did that already. And then you'll see why in a second here. So my 1/4-20 is in there. What I do, I use a little tiny, I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, there we go. Little tiny set screw. Come on, focus. Super hard to focus, but anyways. Little tiny set screw with an Allen. So I'll go ahead and screw that one in the back. I don't know if you guys notice I have those mailbox hands, so sometimes I have a hard time grabbing stuff. Come on. There we go. So I didn't run the tap all the way through, right? So that the threads actually have something to bottom out on. Okay, So now obviously this is completely plugged off, right? So there's kind of a rule of thumb, if you will. You want your turbo, especially a journal one, to have roughly somewhere in the 40 pounds of pressure at all times, right? So depending on how much pressure you produce with your engine, you're going to drill a hole according to that. I don't know if I'm making sense or not here, but in my case, I'm running a drill through there. I don't know if you see how tiny this is. Yeah, it's pretty small. So I'm going to run this guy through. There we go. So I'll try to get you a shot there. There we go. So you can see what's going on there. Then afterwards, all it is just putting this back on with a thread sealer, obviously, and then putting my pressure lines back on, and we're good to go. Oh, when they grew up, I tell you, I swear that exhaust fume could make me cry. All right, guys, another week and another ton of progress done. I had to start up. I just had to do a little something for you because you guys have been bearing with me this entire time, and I really do appreciate it. What's next here? So I believe, I don't want to jinx it, but if everything goes well, for next week, I should be able to button up everything, go without an intercooler, take this thing out for a rip. Nah, I just jinxed it, didn't I? You know what? I'll try my damnedest, all right? So by next week, next episode, if this thing's not driving, call me what you will. It's fine. Your man Porter here is signing out. A little friendly reminder to comment, like, share, subscribe. All that good stuff helps me out a ton. You have no idea. And we'll hope to see you on the next one.